Well, hello there. I see you are taking a break from the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, which is dominating every worldwide trend on Twitter, and no one will shut up about it. But today we're not talking about the Brett Kavanaugh hearing. We're going to talk about a feminist who splashed bleach on men because they were manspreading, and she viewed this as an alpha sign. And I suppose I can talk about feminism and what manspreading is and why, because I gotta admit, man, look, you may be watching this video at some other point in time, but I'm recording this and the Kavanaugh hearings are happening, and my God, the language I'm seeing from, many people associated with the left, it's the illiberal, reactionary, regressive left, mind you, it's terrifying. So let's look at this story, right? An anti-manspreading video went viral. Now one Russian politician wants to criminalize feminism. Quote, "Feminism is insanity from the standpoint of a normal person," said Russian lawmaker Vitaly Milanov, as he called for people to be prosecuted under laws that allow for a 5-year prison sentence. Interesting. Well, the video in question it's not just an anti-manspreading video. This is literally a video of a woman splashing bleach, which is a corrosive, on the groins of men, even when they're sitting by themselves because their legs are open just a little bit. I'm sorry. That is a violent crime, and you have to have some kind of mental illness to do this. This is not a dig at those who are mentally ill. I'm not saying mentally ill people are bad. I'm saying that sometimes people who are not all there will commit acts of violence. I don't necessarily blame them, but this woman is unwell. She is splashing men with a corrosive chemical because she doesn't like the way they're sitting. Look at this photo. There's no one sitting next to this man. He is bothering no one. We'll talk about manspreading because, my Jesus. A Russian politician has called for feminists to be prosecuted for what? After a video of a woman squirting liquid on manspreaders on a public transport went viral. It's replaced liquid with bleach. Milanov, an ultra-conservative lawmaker from Vladimir Putin's United Russia Party, said feminism should be classified as an absolutely radical point of view. Okay, that's ridiculous. Feminism is insanity from the standpoint of a normal person. No, this insane person is an insane person. It has nothing to do with feminism. Milanov, who initially proposed Russia's controversial anti-gay propaganda laws, told the Moscow City News Agency. His comments came after a viral video where activist Anna Dovgalyuk, squirted what she claimed was diluted bleach, but still strong enough to stain clothes on men who were manspreading on the St. Petersburg metro. And so we have the video here apparently. But there's a lot of photos. I don't want to play the audio necessarily. But so look at this. This guy is sitting next to his friend and talking. They're bothering no one. And apparently, she's splashing a corrosive chemical on their groins. So let's look at how she defines it. Manspreading is the habit of some men to sit widely with their legs spread in the subway and other public transportation, this way taking up more than one sit. She says it is an act of aggression and outright disrespect to women nearby. I'm pretty sure this guy minding his own business, sitting next to a bunch of empty seats, was not doing anything to respect women. And I have tried to explain this to people, but it's like logic is out the window. Men and women have different size hips and hip joints and muscle structures. So men tend to sit with their legs open. There's also another reason for this. Men have private parts between their legs. And something interesting about this is something interesting to me. Can I point out a psychological effect? People often relate their own personal experiences, they imprint their own experiences onto others. What that means is somebody who's, how can I explain this without just saying it directly? When I complain, when I say, listen, okay, I don't believe manspreading is about taking space up because I sit with my legs open for 2 reasons. For one, it is just a naturally comfortable way for my legs to sit, and it's actually a strain on my leg muscles trying to hold my legs closed. It's just not natural. My legs naturally come apart. But also, my private parts are there, and it is increasingly uncomfortable for me to push my legs together. It can be done, but it is uncomfortable. And then have a bunch of guys say things like, my private parts aren't big enough to where my legs can't be pushed together. And I'm like, continue. The argument from these guys, from these men, that it's not that big a deal to close your legs, it's not uncomfortable. I'm like, dude, you're not saying it's not uncomfortable for other people. You're literally just telling people that your privates are small, okay? You have to understand that some people have different sized genitals, and that plays a factor. But look, it's simple. There's a thing called the Q angle. Women's legs go in, men's legs are slightly less. And that means when women sit down, it's easier for them to have their legs pointed and inward. I was reading, there was this like Vice article I read that talks all about it. About how guys, the muscles in their legs naturally want to relax open. And it has nothing to do with taking space from women, as exemplified in just pull up this photo right here. He's not sitting next to anybody. He's not taking space from anybody. The reason why this is terrifying to me is that this woman is flat out wrong. She's just like accusing guys of doing this on purpose. Okay, look, there are instances where men, yes, you should probably do better when you're pushing up against women. That I understand. But the idea that she's going to spray a corrosive, look, this woman could move over. This is a non-issue. This is fake. This guy, yeah, that's a widespread. And I think in some circumstances I can be like, yo, do you need to do that? But this woman, you can see she's actually leaning over, but she could sit in this seat. I don't think she's really upset about it. Maybe some women are, I don't know, but all I can say is splashing corrosive chemicals on somebody is crazy. This guy's not sitting next to anybody. What terrifies me with the Kavanaugh hearings, what terrifies me with the illiberal reactionary left, is that they have zero empathy for other people. I try to understand other people. I try to understand where they're coming from and why they believe the things they do. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who don't. And this is true of any political spectrum or belief. But when you take a group of people who are libertarian right, and they believe the government shouldn't have authority to do things, but they also have no sympathy or empathy for others, well, it's not that big a deal because at their core, they're not going to impose their will on you. They're just going to be really, really mean to you and never try to understand you. That sucks. But when you take the illiberal, reactionary, and authoritarian left, the regressive left, and combine it with the fact that they lack empathy for other human beings, they will end up spraying innocent people with corrosive chemicals, and that is not a world that I want to live in. I believe in left-wing policy. I believe there's good social justice, and yes, this is not feminism. This woman is not engaging in an act of feminism, okay? She can call it whatever she wants, but this does nothing for feminism. And I will also add, if real feminists don't call this kind of insane, dangerous, and violent behavior out, people are just going to assume this is what feminism is. And yes, I'm sure there are probably a lot of people who say they're feminists who would do something like this. Unfortunately, this is not indicative of what you could actually define feminism as, okay? There are a lot of people who fly the banner of feminism and don't actually adhere to its principles. And that begins to dominate the narrative. I still think there is such a good thing as good feminism. End of story. I think Laci Green is a good feminist. I don't think she always was, but as long as I've known her, she's been a really cool person. I can't speak for her in the past. You know, some people have complaints, but I know that Laci Green to this day is a feminist, an intersectional feminist, and also a really good person with really normal and rational beliefs who is not an authoritarian. And thus, she gives me hope that there is some goodness in many people who are associated with intersectional feminism. I myself believe that social justice is a good thing, but authoritarians are bad. I don't believe that anybody should splash corrosive chemicals on people for doing things that they might not even realize is wrong in the first place. Has she tried saying, "Excuse me, sir, could you close your legs?" That's offensive. I don't think so. Granted, I'm not going to play the full video, but it's insane. This is insane. Look, there's nobody sitting next to that guy. This is just violence. There's nobody sitting next to this guy. This is just violence. It's literally a video of her assaulting people. This guy is sitting next to an open seat. They're both doing it. What is she doing? This is what terrifies me. Because there are people who cheer this behavior on. They say, it's funny, it's a good thing. I'm looking at Twitter, and granted, I'm sure, for most of you who watch this, the Kavanaugh hearings have already passed, but the comments from people are terrifying. No empathy for anyone involved in this. It's just a laugh fest, making fun of this guy whose life has been smeared left and right. They're like, that you're a little whiny prick, and I'm like, dude, we have no evidence of anything, okay? I personally believe that Christine Blasey Ford deserves respect and human dignity, and so does Kavanaugh. And we're trying to figure out what's going on. But what do we have? We have one side acting like petulant children. Granted, there are a lot of people on the right who are messaging me, and it pisses me off. They're like, how can you not see through this, Tim? She's clearly lying, blah, blah, blah. No, listen. Kavanaugh said he believes her, and he is in no way questioning her story. He just thinks she's mistaken. And I find that respectable. I don't believe Blasey Ford is lying, but she's probably mistaken. Something's wrong here, okay? It's plain and simple. When you look at this, let's see how they end the story, I guess. Milanow have called on people who propagate feminism to be prosecuted under Article 282 of Russia's criminal code, which can carry a prison sentence of up to 5 years. Liu, I can't pronounce that name, has been charged under the same code for posting feminist memes after one man in a city 2,500 miles away complained. That's not okay either. Not a big fan of what Russia does in this regard. I think you should be able to post memes, be it feminist or otherwise. She told BuzzFeed News she feared she was certain to be convicted, and that even if she was not imprisoned, the stigma of the conviction and the accompanying fine would ruin her life. And then you have this story, actually. It says, posting feminist memes could land this woman in jail. I don't know what's going on. All I can say is this thing went viral. Everybody talked about it. And you know what? The way this guy is framing it is ridiculous. Admittedly, the Russian politician who wants to criminalize feminism, that's also really ridiculous. But anyway, stick around. I don't know if I'll have a video up in the next 15 minutes, but I will have at least 2 more videos later today if you're watching today. So I'll see you soon.